What if everything you thought you knew about sister wives was a carefully constructed illusion? What if Christine's book isn't just a memoir, but a torch that exposes the shadows TLC never wanted us to see? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal changes everything. Christine Brown Woolley's book has gripped me for days. I've read it, reread it, dissected it, trying to piece together the truth hidden between her words. We've seen highlight clips, we've discussed big moments, but now it's time to dig deeper. Not to unfairly attack Christine, but to confront the reality that her story reveals. Years of deception. Yes, deception that doesn't just stain her relationship with Kody, but deception baked into the very fabric of the show itself. She admits it, they lied. Lied to viewers, lied to producers, lied to each other. And what's worse? These lies ran for years, fooling fans into believing a story that was never real. Christine even exposes contradictions in her own life, preaching health and natural supplements through MLMs while taking medications she never disclosed. But the most jarring revelation? That this family, who presented themselves as pioneers of a new, better way of polygamy, knew all along that their church, the Apostolic United Brethren, was no different from the FLDS they condemned. They told us they were different. They weren't. They knew it. And they kept lying. Christine's memories swing wildly, fond nostalgia for her childhood, alongside the chilling admission. She was born into a cult, raised her children in a cult, yet struggles to acknowledge her own role in it. She admits this faith, this culture, breeds narcissism. She even confesses her own narcissism. And though her trauma with Kody is undeniable, her years of denial and survival mode lying created a cycle she still hasn't fully escaped. A realistic representation. Even after confessing to all the lies. So, what is reality? What was truth? Was the realism just the realism of deception? But if you think that's shocking, wait until you hear what Christine admits about the producers themselves and how the entire reason this show was created was built on a lie. What if Christine's exit from Sister Wives wasn't just a personal choice, but the unraveling of the very foundation the show was built on? Because when you hear what she told the producers, you'll realize this story was never what it seemed. Christine makes it clear her children don't want the show anymore. Aspen bluntly told her, "I think I've lived your life long enough. I want to live my own life now." Truly refuses to film. Christine herself wonders why they're even filming at all. When she left Kody, she thought the show would finally end. Instead, contracts pulled her back in, forcing her into storylines long after her heart had moved on. She describes Kody as controlling, yet not controlling. Loving, then cold. Inconsistent at every turn. By the epilogue, she sounds certain she's ready to close this chapter. She says, "I don't even know why they're still making this show. It was over when I left Kody." Still, she acknowledges the irony. She claims the show helped her family develop voices, learn to reflect, and process their struggles. Sister Wives, she insists, showed her at her best and worst, jealous, insecure, sad, but also excited, motivated, even mediating. But this is after admitting she lied constantly on camera. So how realistic was it really? Was it truth, or just a family skilled at faking their truth for the cameras? She recalls the crew with deep affection. They weren't just camera operators, they were family. One even rode with them when Truly left the hospital after birth. They became uncles, watching her kids grow. They supported the Browns through good and bad days. Yet, despite the crew's loyalty, her children were done. They didn't want to watch the episodes. They didn't want to be characters anymore. Christine admits she was stunned to learn there would even be another season. What are they going to film? She wondered. She dreamed of simply living life with David, free from cameras. Instead, producers pushed her into shaping new storylines she didn't want. Her life now revolves around retirement planning, vacation rentals, grandchildren, and time with Janelle. Janelle tends her flower farm. Christine tends her new chapter. But Christine doesn't want to keep revisiting Kody. She's tired of the past. This book, she insists, is her way of closing it, putting a final exclamation point on years of pain. And yet, TLC pushes forward. Season 20 is looming. Christine hints she won't be part of it. She's exhausted, she's finished. Because why? Why would she keep filming with a man she no longer respects, no longer loves, no longer even wants to speak about? But here's the part most fans have never heard. Christine reveals that from the very beginning, the producer who launched Sister Wives wasn't driven by curiosity, drama, or family bonds. No, the entire show began as a radical experiment. And that truth changes everything. What if I told you Sister Wives wasn't born out of entertainment at all, but out of a radical push to redefine polygamy as a civil right? And what if Christine herself now admits it was all doomed from the start? Christine shares a detail that's easy to miss, but impossible to ignore. When she finally decided to leave Kody, she had to sit down with the producer, the very man who brought Sister Wives to life. His name? Tim Gibbons. And here's the shocking truth. Back in 2008 or 2009, Tim didn't approach them for drama or ratings or even family stories. He approached them because he believed polygamy was being denied recognition as a civil rights issue. Yes, you heard that right. He thought the show could change laws. He thought it could legalize polygamy by framing it alongside race, gender, and sexuality. But Christine admits in her book that strategy failed. Lawmakers didn't buy it. Because civil rights cannot be used to justify trafficking, coercion, or religious exploitation. Freedom of religion exists, yes, but not freedom to break the law. And in Utah, polygamy is still a felony when abuse and coercion are involved. Christine even reveals that Kody coerced her into marriage. He didn't want her. He wasn't attracted to her. He married her for clout because she was polygamy royalty, and he wanted status within the church. She writes that Kody misled her, tricked her into marriage under false pretenses, then kept her for over 2 decades without ever truly wanting her. He denied her the chance to find happiness elsewhere. That's not partnership, that's coercion. And so, the very premise of Sister Wives crumbled. Tim's civil rights vision could never work. Even Christine admits they had to abandon that argument and instead push for reforms by highlighting abuse. But in doing so, the ugly truth became undeniable. Polygamy as practiced in their world could not exist without systemic abuse and subjugation of women. Christine, even now, seems caught between shame and clarity. She knows she was abused, but she hasn't fully embraced that truth. She admits she feels embarrassed for living this way, embarrassed for raising her children in it. She hints she wasn't abused, then pulls back, unwilling to put it in black and white. And yet, every word of her story screams that she was. But the revelation that shakes everything? When she and Kody finally told Tim she was leaving, the man who believed in this experiment broke down in tears. He cried. Because his entire mission, to prove polygamy wasn't abusive, wasn't harmful, wasn't patriarchal, was shattered. Kody had become the very monster they promised he wasn't. And what happened next will leave you stunned. The producer stayed, but only long enough to film their family's collapse before walking away for good. And when he left, the truth about what Sister Wives really showed could no longer be denied. Imagine building a show to prove polygamy was loving, safe, and equal, only to watch it collapse into the very nightmare you swore it wasn't. That's exactly what happened to Tim Gibbons, the Sister Wives producer who walked away in 2024. Christine writes that when she and Kody told Tim about their separation, he cried. After years together, he cared for the family, but he also knew what their breakup meant. The show was unraveling. His vision was unraveling. Remember, Tim's mission was to show the world polygamy wasn't about patriarchy, abuse, or neglect. He wanted to prove that wives weren't demeaned, that children weren't ignored, that husbands weren't controlling. And for years, that was the story Sister Wives sold us. But when Christine left, Kody transformed into the very caricature Tim had promised he wasn't, more controlling, more abusive, demanding loyalty, declaring himself the patriarch. Christine explains how production shifted. During COVID, they filmed on phones, struggling to capture their divorce. Tim stayed for 2 more years, but by 2024, he left. Christine suspects it was too much for him, too painful to film the collapse of what he once believed could be proof of healthy polygamy. But the truth is harsher. Tim wasn't just heartbroken, he was deceived. From day one, the family sold him a version of themselves that didn't exist. They lied about harmony, lied about equality, lied about love. And by the end, the facade shattered publicly. No health insurance for children, inequitable property rights, kids raising kids, wives stripped of financial protections. Every hallmark of abuse, neglect, and inequality that polygamy produces, exposed on national TV. Christine herself admits she wanted to leave as early as season 1. By season 6, the decision was firm. So think about that. From the beginning of the show, the truth was that she never intended to stay. Yet on camera, she signed commitment ceremonies, performed unity rituals, smiled through staged events, while secretly planning her escape. For example, she recalls the sand-pouring ceremony, where each wife added colored sand to symbolize togetherness. In that very moment, she thought, "This is ridiculous. I'm not even going to stay." Later, her sand container tipped over and broke, an eerie reflection of her own crumbling commitment. So while fans watched tears, dances, and vows on TV, Christine was already preparing to walk away. The producers? They captured a family's staged reality, not their real one. But here's the ultimate twist. Christine admits that it wasn't until she stopped lying and started rebelling that Kody finally rejected her. And when she found her voice, the show's very foundation cracked wide open. What happens when the wife who was supposed to keep quiet suddenly refuses to play along? When Christine stopped lying for Kody, everything, their marriage, the family image, even the show itself, began to unravel. Christine admits she lied for years, forced to play a role on camera. She smiled through ceremonies she didn't believe in, repeated lines she didn't mean, and pretended to support a man who withheld affection the moment she disobeyed. The lies weren't just for viewers, they were survival. If she didn't play the game, life off camera became unbearable. But then something shifted. She stopped pretending. She began questioning. She stopped obeying Kody's rules and started speaking her own truth. And that's when Kody rejected her. Christine explains that Kody clung to the wives who kept lying for him, who maintained the illusion. But when she rebelled, when she lost faith in the system and in him, he turned cold. He didn't want her voice disrupting the facade. Her refusal to be silent made her the enemy. And this rebellion didn't just cost her a marriage, it shook the entire premise of Sister Wives. Because if Christine had been preparing to leave since season 1, what does that say about all the unity moments TLC fed to fans? The commitment ceremonies, the sand rituals, the staged proclamations of harmony, none of it was real. It was acting. It was deception. The saddest part? Christine writes that she thought the show would end with her departure. She thought leaving Kody meant leaving the cameras. Instead, TLC kept filming, desperate to drag out storylines, even as Christine and her children wanted no part of it. Now the show heads towards season 20 with no producer, no authenticity, and a cast fractured beyond repair. Christine says revisiting her pain is exhausting, and she refuses to keep reliving Kody's abuse. For her, the book is the period at the end of the sentence, a final chapter she never intends to reopen. But TLC? They want more. Which leaves one pressing question. If Christine, her children, and even the original producer no longer believe in the show, who is it really for? And here's the most explosive truth Christine leaves us with. From the very first season, from the very first vow, she already knew she'd leave Kody. Meaning the story TLC sold us for over a decade was never real at all. What if I told you Christine never truly believed in the story she lived on camera, that the happy polygamy image was broken from day one? Her final revelations prove that the tale TLC sold us was never real at all. Christine admits in her book that she wanted to leave Kody as early as season 1. By season 6, the decision was set. For years, viewers watched as she smiled through family ceremonies, signed covenants, danced at commitment rituals, and planted family trees, while inside, she was planning her escape. She remembers watching Kody make grand speeches about abundance and eternal covenants, while her inner voice whispered, "If I stay, it can't look like this. This isn't real." Even as she poured her sand into the unity container, she thought, "I won't be here much longer." Days later, her small sand vessel tipped over and broke, an accidental symbol of the life she knew she'd never keep. And this is the heartbreaking truth. The audience never saw the authentic Christine until she finally decided to leave. Before that, she played along, deceiving not just fans but herself. The show wasn't reality, it was survival wrapped in production gloss. Christine now reflects with shame. She admits she feels embarrassed she allowed Kody to mistreat her, embarrassed her children grew up in that environment, embarrassed she carried on the facade for so long. But even in her shame, she's clear. Her rebellion, her choice to walk away, is the first step toward true authenticity. As for the show, Christine believes season May 20th be the last. Without her voice, without the illusion of unity, what's left? Just Kody scrambling for redemption and TLC piecing together damage control. But Christine won't be there. Her book, she says, is the final word, the end of her chapter in polygamy and in sister wives. And the biggest revelation of all? This wasn't just a marriage failing. It wasn't just a family breaking apart. It was proof, played out on national television, that polygamy, no matter how you dress it up, breeds inequality, deception, and pain. So now the question remains, with Christine gone, the producer gone, and the truth exposed, can Sister Wives survive another season? Or has the world finally seen enough of the lies? Don't miss the next headline. Like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell.